why aren't we marking the government issued safe supply so that we can determine if it is indeed ending up in the hands of Canadians who are either trafficking it or ending up dead by it? Also, what are we doing to deal with the infiltration of gangs into our points of entry, but also our ports? What are we doing to deal with that? Because that's a huge problem. That's how a lot of this stuff at monitored points of entry, that's how it's getting passed, is the gangs have infiltrated there. What are we doing about that?
You have this new fentanyl czar being appointed by Justin Trudeau, who is a now resigned prime minister, still running the country, not as liberal leader anymore. Anyway, so he has appointed Kevin Brosseau as the new border and fentanyl czar, and he has an interesting connection here to digital ID. So he previously endorsed a globalist surveillance project, which was done with partnership of the World Economic Forum, Canadian government, some of our airlines, Air Canada, the Trudeau Airport in Montreal, and the Toronto Pearson Airport in Toronto, obviously. But this is a now deleted social media post from him dating back to June 2019. Thrilled to see the official launch of KTDI. He called it a groundbreaking collaboration between, which also included the Dutch government, Transport Canada, and the World Economic Forum. The Known Traveler Digital Identity, like I said, acronymed KTDI, was a digital credentialed system designed for international travelers. It never launched despite a $105 million budget allocation for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. And the report kind of goes on to explain a little bit more about the boondoggle that was this digital ID project that our new border and fentanyl czar was a huge fan of and endorsed. And then I wanted to point to the announcement where he's announced as the fentanyl czar from February 11th from the Prime Minister's office. I think I forgot to share this link in here. But anyway, it goes on to say, he has a long career. Kevin Brosseau has a long career with the RCMP, and he has all these connections and public safety, intelligence, et cetera, et cetera. And then I watched they had an announcement yesterday with Public Safety Minister Bill Blair, and they really didn't say much of anything. I think we might have a small clip of it to share with you. But, basically, from what I could hear, they're just bringing everyone to the table and having a bunch of discussions right now.
Oh, is this with James Blair, White House Deputy Chief of Staff? Yeah.
No,
Bill Blair. I was like, did they wake Bill Blair up? Like, did they pull the Afghan off him, take him out of his slippers, and dust the dust off him, and have him do something? I guess not.
No, but we will get into James Blair in a minute.
Yeah.
Pretty tight deadline, given that tariffs could be put in place on March 4th.
I'm hoping to be able to give an intensity to the work being carried out by thousands of men and women in this country and the United States, trying to deal with the real public safety and national security crisis that is fentanyl. Bringing that integrated approach, bringing the teams together, ensuring the collaboration, ensuring the communication is happening at officials level on both sides of the border in communities across the country.
Hi, Mr. Brosseau. Thanks for taking questions. I'm Jillian Piper with Global News. My question to you is that we know that Canada already represents less than 1% of the fentanyl going into the United States. Do you think we can realistically get that number to zero?
Getting the number to zero is in fact a goal and should be our goal. If it's 1 pound, 10 pounds, we all know the amount of deaths that possibly could represent. This is a national security and a public safety crisis. We should be focused on eliminating the scourge that is fentanyl in this country and in the United States.
And have you spoken with the Border Czar, Mr. Holman, about your appointment? Are you planning to speak with him in the coming days?
I hope to speak with him soon. In fact, I spoke with the ambassador of the United States last night, and she and I talked about getting to DC very, very soon to be able to have those conversations. I've already, of course, as you know,
think we
spent some
can-
time here.
Yeah,
It's a
does
15-minute presser.
does not inspire confidence. Like I look
No.
at the people making an impact on the fentanyl issue. For example, Mike Ellis, Alberta's public safety minister. If you really wanted to make a difference, you would have, if I were Trudeau and I actually wanted to do something, I would have taken somebody from a jurisdiction that the Americans like, Alberta, and somebody who has experience in policing, Mike Ellis, former cop, who is the public safety minister, who is dealing with border issues from a place that is taking a zero toleration approach to fentanyl and a treatment approach to the drug crisis that's happening. This is the guy I would have tapped if I wanted to impress the Americans and stave off tariffs, but they didn't. They hired a career bureaucrat from the RCMP in Ottawa that has overseen the explosion of fentanyl in this country.
Yeah, exactly. And if we kept listening there, one of the journalists asks, "Oh my gosh," and I was just banging my head, "Why did you pick the title czar?" And nowhere in the press conference, which again spanned almost 16 minutes, did they ask anything about, hey, what about the ports of entry where there are no police? What's the plan of attack on these ports that don't have any security or surveillance, where you can just walk over the border? What about the fentanyl precursors, right? Because fentanyl requires
Right.
all these other ingredients to be manufactured in the country. What about all those ingredients coming in separately? How are we monitoring and trying to curb that border issue and those crossings over?
Right.
Because it's not just fentanyl specifically, it's all the ingredients that make it up. And what no one in there asked about government safe supply. We know that government
Right.
regulated and produced and taxpayer funded safer supply of these powerful opioids are being diverted out into the streets, and then that is being utilized to fund more fentanyl purchasing power by addicts on the street. So you don't have a mainstream media who's asking any of these relevant, pertinent questions. They're asking, "Oh, how did you come up with the title czar?"
Right.
This
Right.
is
And
craziness.
why are you spelling it with CZ and not TS? Is that an anti-Russian sentiment? Yeah, like my questions would have been exactly yours. Why aren't we marking the government issued safe supply so that we can determine if it is indeed ending up in the hands of Canadians who are either trafficking it or ending up dead by it? Also, what are we doing to deal with the infiltration of gangs into our points of entry, but also our ports? What are we doing to deal with that? Because that's a huge problem. That's how a lot of this stuff at monitored points of entry, that's how it's getting passed, is the gangs have infiltrated there. What are we doing about that? There's just no curious questions. They're worrying about if he is being influenced by Russian spelling.
How dare he?
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.